hand has guided my life and my career in incredible and at times startling ways. For instance, back in 1997, I had auditioned for a role that every big name in Hollywood wanted. A role in Terrence Malick's upcoming film, The Thin Red Line. Now the odds were against me, but I got a meeting with Malick. I pulled up at his house in Beverly Hills for my 6 o'clock meeting, but I couldn't leave the car. I was plagued by self-doubt. I made a decision that if this didn't pan out, if this didn't go through, I was going to have to hang it up. I didn't want to just drift along the rest of my life wondering if I was ever going to work consistently as an actor. It is 6 p.m. I was still in the car. I believe in my heart that the next 10 minutes changed my life forever. In my mind, I was a guy from Mount Vernon, Washington. I wanted to be a basketball player. What the heck was I doing outside of Terrence Malick's house? I'm an emotional mess, self-sabotage at full fury. So I started to pray the rosary. It is 6:05 p.m. and I'm still in the middle of the fourth glorious mystery. You see, 6 months earlier, my manager, who was a bit like a Catholic mystic, said that I should start praying the rosary on a daily basis. My wife, Carrie, taught me how to pray it. So following orders, I borrowed her grandmother's rosary. It was a precious antique heirloom. And I started running them through my fingers and praying without even really knowing the mysteries. I'm already 5 minutes late for this major meeting with the most sought-after director in Hollywood, and I've not finished the decade, so I decide to press on. Hail Mary, full of grace. Hail Mary, full of grace. When I finally finish the Hail Holy Queen, it is 6:10 p.m. I jump out of the car, dash up to the house, but I realize I got rosary beads in my hand. And I knew if I put them in my pocket, I would start fiddling around with them in front of the director. So I turned heels and raced back to the car to dispose of those beads. I opened the car door and made a deliberate move to drop off this rosary when I get a feeling right here in my heart that I should take this rosary with me. This was not the first time I experienced this sensation. The first time I had this experience, I was 19 years old in a theater in Mount Vernon, Washington. The movie had ended, and out there in the darkness, befriended only by my basketball in the adjacent seat, I had a sensation right here in my heart that made me think that I was supposed to be an actor, that this is what God crafted me for, that this is what He wanted of me. You could say it was my personal annunciation, a very deep awareness of my vocation. So, reluctantly, I went forward. My rational sense intervened. I knew nothing about acting, no agents, no managers. Hell, I can't even memorize to save my life, as you can see. But I had this conviction. I had a charge. So back on the curb in front of Terrence Malick's house, I decided to take this rosary with me and make my way to the front door. This little maid answers the bell, and on her neck is a miraculous medal. So I say, "Oh, you're a Catholic." She says, "No, I'm not. I'm Episcopalian. Come on in." So this maid takes me in and she shows me the house. It's a beautiful Spanish hacienda. And as we're admiring the ceiling while the woman is in mid-sentence, I get this sensation in my chest again, but stronger than I had ever experienced. And without thinking, I reach for the rosary in my pocket and I interrupt her and I say, "This is for you, ma'am." She's now startled. She said, "Why did you do that?" Tears are now welling up in her eyes. I said, "I don't know. She says, oh my God. She said, the woman that gave me this miraculous medal of the Virgin Mary also gave me a rosary that she got from Mother Teresa, but I lost it. And I prayed this morning that God would send me another one. And then you walk in. This woman is now collapsing in tears. I'm shell-shocked. There's a rosary in between us. And in walks the director, Terrence Malick. When he started with, honey, what's wrong? It occurs to me, this ain't the maid. This is Mrs. Terrence Malick, his wife. And I thought, well, better book a return flight back to Mount Vernon, pal. When I got home, I told my wife, honey, I've got some good news and I got some bad news. The good news is I may get the thin red line. The bad news is Granny's rosary is gone. That rosary and I believe that the intercession of Our Lady led to the first major role of my career in the Thin Red Line. We would be nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Cut to the spring of 2000. I was offered the role of Edmond Dantes in The Count of Monte Cristo. It was a new adaptation of the Dumas classic. This was the first time I had to carry a film on my own, and here I was at the pinnacle of what I long wanted to achieve, but I had no peace. I'm having masses said for this movie and trying to pray, but like you, I was never sure if my prayers were landing. An amazing thing happened.